Always nervous when I start off Pixel Chatter and I'm getting messages from YouTube telling me that my health is not good. Good morning, everyone. I think it means the stream health is not good. Let me just start up on my phone so I get the chat box. How's everyone doing? Hope you're doing well. It's been a little while, a couple of weeks since we've caught up, and been a while since I've put any videos up, so I need to get back on that, don't I? I've been pretty slack. All right, looks like I've got that up and running, which is good. Is that going? What's going on? Is it frozen? Is it going? What have we got going on? Oh, phone, please cooperate, phone. There we go. All the joys of getting things up and running. Yay, yes, we're here, Paul. Yay, he says. How are you, mate? You all good? Hope everyone's doing well. Let me have a look in the chat box here. It says here, Amanda, good morning. Bit early. Nothing wrong with being early. Early's good. Brian, g'day. Aussie Paul, g'day. Anthony, g'day. Dull but nice. Melbourne. Gianni, g'day, buddy. Alrighty. Looks like everything's working, which is good. So let's get stuck straight into it. First of all, just a quick thanks to the Patreons who continue to support the channel. And, it's you guys that make this all worthwhile, is knowing that we've got a community of people there that are supporting things as we go down this photographic journey. So we've got a pretty vibrant online community, lots going on. So if you want to get in there, all you got to do is become a VIP, which is a very important photographer. All the links are down below to learn how to do that. I'd love to see you in the VIP group. Come and join us. There's lots of fun going on. All right. Hey, Spanner, how you going? Good old Steve. I saw one of your pictures, I think, in a camera house competition or something, mate, I think. Pretty sure I saw it floating around the internet. Well done. I think it might have even been one that I'd critiqued. So, good luck with that. I think I had you won. I think you won, maybe. Did you? I can't remember. I saw it floating around. Loving this coffee. So one of the things on my health kick that I had to change to, my weight loss coach made me drink almond milk. And Nikki tried it and she didn't like it, but she decided to give the vanilla flavour one a go. If you want a really nice coffee that's guilt-free, no calories or hardly any calories or carbs in it, vanilla almond milk. The other one we need to try is the chocolate one, because I reckon that'd make it like a mocha. Be like a mocha. Once again, guilt-free. Yes. So Brian says, congrats. Yeah, I was pretty sure you won it. I'm pretty sure that's what I saw. So good job, buddy. Good job. Okay, so let's jump straight into things. This week, we've got a few things to do. We've got the editing challenge. I haven't got any events or anything coming up to promote, but I was planning on a few things and I just haven't got there. I'm a bloke, I think. When I'm focusing on one thing, it's hard for me to focus on other things. However, I do have some news that I shared in the VIP group. Let me just bring that photo up. There we go. Is that as big as it goes? Isn't that crappy? Anyway, I'll just share the screen with you real quickly. Da-da-da-da. Here we go. So there's a few comments here you'll see. This is FJ. FJ has joined the On Three Legs team. I'm going to be setting this vehicle up for photography touring. And my plan is to include you guys in the build as I slowly build it out. This was taken up a lookout up at Currajong after just going and testing out all the four-wheel drive systems, because she is second-hand. You can't get these new anymore, and I've always loved them. In particular, I've loved the older ones. And but I didn't want to get an old FJ40 because then that'd be too old. This one's a little bit more modern, although it's not very modern compared to my X5 BMW. But anyway, this is going to be the new beast. So I've started making a list of all the things that are going to happen, and I'm going to document it in vlogs as well. So I'll make another playlist on my vlog for the FJ build. So for those of you that are interested in following that journey, and I know some of you are into camping and forward driving, so that's cool. How do I get out of this screen now? There we go. Anybody who's interested in sort of camping or forward driving or anything like that, and because I'll be setting it up with photography in mind, so there'll be tripod storage. There will be a charging station in the back, which will be probably a very skinny slide-out drawer with all my battery chargers. It'll have solar. It's going to have a tent on the roof, so really quick to pull up somewhere, so I can just jump into bed, get up in the morning for sunrise, and then move on without having to pack up much. So really looking forward to setting that up. So yeah, can't wait. The Choco almond milk is delish. Nice to know. Spanner says, not this week. Second, I won a few weeks back. Okay. Yeah, I thought I saw you winning or runner-up or something, which was well done, buddy. Aussie Paul, make sure you take a Nissan Patrol with you. Ha! Crikey, it's just like cameras, isn't it? Like the four-wheel drive world. Everyone is brand loyal. I'm not going to be doing anything too extreme, mate. But I do want to know that I can get out of trouble if they're tough, if it gets a bit rough or gets a bit soggy. At least I've got four-wheel drive. I used to have four-wheel drives and do a fair bit of four-wheel driving, extreme four-wheel driving years ago. And I'm sure this will be more than enough. Factory-fitted rear diff locker, crawl control, traction control, all sorts of stuff. So pretty capable apparently. And then it'll be good. It'll be good. Nice 4x4 handy. Took mine to Barrington Tops. Yeah, I'm sure that was good. Amanda says, I'll bring the Land Cruiser to pull you both out. Yeah, cheeky. I looked at the Land Cruiser. It's just too much car for me. Very big. Very big is where I'm probably going to be. Most of my trips will be solo travelling because the boss doesn't like camping unless it's in a hotel of at least 3 stars. Fewtrell. Oh, God. We've started the four-wheel drive arguments already, have we? There we go. But anyway, so the only thing I've done so far is sort of put my awning on the side and stuck a dash mat in. I didn't film any of that. But as I go through making changes, I'll document it. I will do a video. I'm going to start making some more videos now. I've been very slack. I don't know why. But I've got the burning desire in me to do some more. I've got a whole bunch on my hard drive. I've got to edit up and upload, and that seems to be my problem. So if you know anybody who wants to edit my videos for me, then shoot their details my way, as long as they don't charge too much, because I don't make any money out of this, unfortunately. Paying someone to do the editing, and editing a video takes hours. So I've just been really focused on my health, as you probably all know, probably sick of hearing about it, but 24 kilos down now. And my original goal was to lose 25 kilos, but I've changed it to 35 kilos. So I'm going to be going a little bit longer. Like getting healthy means being able to get out and do more photography. Okay, so that's the news of the week, the FJ. FJ has joined the team. And at some stage, I'm going to get FJ wrapped with On Three Legs. So you'll be able to spot me a mile away, I'd say. Alrighty. I'm just going to let all the argument... I'll just let all the arguing go on in the chat there about four-wheel drives by the looks of things. I can see a lot... A set of AT tyres, yes, we'll get there. Some BFG KO2s or something. Stubby holder, yes. I've got stubby holders, On Three Legs stubby holders. Look out. All right, let's get off that topic because it's everyone's beating everyone up. Let's have a look at the editing challenge. So if I just jump back into albums, here we go, and I will share this with you. This week's editing challenge was a little less challenging. I think the one before challenged quite a few people, but still not a huge amount of people doing the editing challenge, which is okay. I'm okay with that. But it is great to see you all having a go and trying different things. So let me pop that up on the screen. Here we go. Bang, there we go. All right. So the editing challenge, or the theme for this editing challenge, was this particular image. Now this was a photo that I took at Caves Beach up on the Central Coast, Newcastle Way, at sunrise, and this was my rough edit. I just quickly edited it, found the raw file, and did about a 5-minute edit on it, to be completely honest with you. just so I could throw up what I thought I would do. I could probably do a little bit more. After I posted this, I did notice down here that there was a, oops, didn't mean to do that, something on the rock there that I would probably remove. But otherwise, you know, it's a nice image, a good one for everyone to have a bit of a crack at. It was a beautiful sunrise. So I'd be interested to see what everybody did. So let's have a flick through. All right, so here's one from Matt's. It says, I realise that it's very much up to what screen you have and how the photo will look after editing, but here are my settings. So down with exposure, up a notch with contrast, down highlight, shadows and white, down with black, up with vibrance and down saturation, some dodging and burning and split toning. Remove some ships at the horizon and finally some black in the corners. So some vignetting. Yeah, very good. Looks great. So the whole idea is just to try different things for yourself. This is Greg West. He's also removed the ships. I can see quick edit and capture one to balance exposure. Remove ships. Level adjustment for the sky. Color dodging in the water and clouds. Level adjustments for the darks for the rocks. Nick detail extractor for the water in the foreground. Color adjustment with the raw filter. Overall levels adjustment. Yeah, it looks great. Good job. Love it. Nice edit. Hey, here's a man after my own heart. He's panoed it. He's turned it into a pano. And put some nice colour in the sky. Set the profile, white balance, exposure, contrast, highlight, shadow, whites, blacks, texture, and dehaze. Blush clarity onto the rocks in camera raw, and in Photoshop I tinkered with the gamma. Crop the bottom. Looks great, buddy. Nice. Nice colours. Steve Algie. This was a challenge for sure. It seemed somewhat distracting with all the smaller rocks in the scene. So I removed and added some more colour and light on the horizon. Removed rock, ships, and added the colour on the horizon. Nick for contrast. Denoise, a little skylight. Luminar for sunlight. And finished in camera raw, sharpening rock and texture to water. A few colour adjustments. Yeah, nice. I actually agree with you, mate. I really like that. Removing some of the distraction was a good decision. Like it. So there you go. So some nice photos there. Just quickly flick through again. Matt Sandquist, Greg West, Brian Willert, Steve Algie. Well done, guys. Nice photos. And then Anthony's added one here in the comments. Oh, wow. Didn't put any comments as to what he did to it, but I can see he's really pulled the sun rays out at the top there. Nice. That looks great. Good job, Anthony. All right. Good job, everyone, for doing that, for jumping into that challenge and challenging yourself. Because that's what it's all about, the VIP challenge. That's the editing challenge, though. There's no winners. That's just to exercise your editing muscles, as they say. Nothing like a nice cuppa in the morning, especially when it's cold. It was, I think it was 4 degrees here this morning, and it said felt like 2 degrees. So, yeah, beautiful. Look what's going on in the comments. Rob says, first time able to join, had the day off. G'day, Rob. Nice to have you here, buddy. How about a pixel chatter wheel cover? It could happen, mate. You never know. Except I've got a reverse camera, so on the middle of the wheel, so it's a bit hard. Amanda says, I like Brian's and Anthony's. Yeah, good edits. Well done, guys. Well done. I'm just going to have a bit more of my coffee. All right. Let's jump into... Hey, did anyone see that Fujifilm have released a GFX 100? My goodness me, 100 megapixels. That's incredible, isn't it? I just noticed the internet slowed down. Hopefully you're still getting the stream okay. Hopefully. I'll keep pushing on because I think it's still working. 100 megapixels. That's insane. Insane. Anyway, I'm going to upload, hopefully this weekend, my thoughts on the GFX 50R because I did a video on that and didn't upload it. And then I've got a few other vlogs that I've got to edit and put up as well. But I'd love to get my hand on the 100 when it comes out. And hopefully Fuji will let me have a go and review that. That's going to be monumental. 100 megapixels. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. All right. Let's, hella pricey.
Sorry,
oh.
I'm having trouble understanding right now. Please try a little later.
Alexa thinks I'm talking to her. Isn't that funny? All right, let's jump into the next challenge, which was the VIP challenge. Once I can find it here. Albums. Just watching the chat box. Looks good. Good stuff. Hella pricey, says Bose Beaver. Yeah, I think I don't know how much it's going to be, but yeah. All right, so Steve Algie won the last challenge, and he chose this challenge theme to be dark and moody. So let's jump over to my screen. Dark and moody, which was quite a cool challenge. And now the boss had to work today, and she ran off before picking the winners. So I flicked through and just looked at the photos without the names, because I thought maybe that'll taint my thinking. So I just looked at the photos and chose 2. So I have picked the 2 today. So I have a runner-up or an honourable mention, and I have an overall winner. Let's go through them. Alrighty. Now my internet is going a little bit slow for some reason at the moment, so we'll just be patient. Here we go. Stephen Carr, dark and gloomy. Looks like he's gone across the road again. This is a superb location you have opposite your house somewhere. Therese Elsie, not so sure it's moody, but it was dark, she says. Definitely. Laurel Box, image number 1, No Escape, Old Melbourne Jail, XT20. That is definitely dark and moody. This was Laura Box as well. Okay, so you put the description there as well. Number 2 is Moody Creek in the Briars, Victoria. Definitely is moody. I know sometimes when I'm walking through like a forest track or something, hiking, it can be quite moody. You know, it gets dark with the canopy over the top of you, blocking out all the light. Tim Trim, Moody Kookaburra, Early Morning Gloom. Amanda Keys, Misty, Cold and Spooky Morning at Home by Our Dam. Yeah, nice. Beautiful. Matt Sandquist, on an old abandoned brewery, I found this text. Says it all, really. Yeah, empty. Matt's again, an old landmark in Gothenburg Harbour. The painters had to go with the spray cans. They sure did. Nice. Stephen Cast, a funnel web spider, watching me, watching her. Yeah. Wouldn't want to get much closer, would you? Wouldn't want to get much closer. Ren Thielen, dark and gloomy with faint ray of sunshine. Yeah, definitely. Dark Warrior Angel Gravestone. Very moody. Tim Trim, Stony Creek Frog. Yeah, that's a nice shot. Beautiful. You guys get some stunners. I love these challenges. Matt's, I throw in one more photo because I'm in the mood. This is from the archipelago outside where I'm living. I hope I pronounced that right. Beautiful. Amanda Keys, not sure if I can enter 2. Yeah, you can have up to 3. But I just love this one from our Cradle Mountain trip. Amazed that it was still standing upright. Yeah, beautiful. Love the reflections in the water. Steve Algie, dark and moody. ICM taken through the week after some snow chasing at Barrington Tops. ICM, what's that mean? ICM. Somebody enlighten me. What does ICM mean? No idea. Maybe you can tell me, Spanner. What does ICM mean? I'll wait for you to answer me. Stephen Algie, taken last week at Newcastle Beach, felt it had a lonely, dark and moody feel. Certainly does. Certainly does. There we go. Alrighty. Beautiful. Beautiful shots, guys and girls. Alright. So, the runner-up is... Runner-up, this one here, Amanda Keys. Good job. Well done. Loved this one. I thought it was definitely dark and moody. Misty morning. Loved it. Intentional camera movement. Thank you, guys. You'd think I'd know that, wouldn't you? There you go. Something I don't do any of. Beautiful work, Amanda. And the winner of this week's challenge, who is going to pick the next week's challenge, because the winner picks the next week's challenge. The winner is... There's my scrolling to the winner's picture. Oh, I went past it. This one here by Laurel Box. Old Melbourne Jail. This really spoke to me, this one, as being dark and moody, and sort of gave me that feeling I was looking up with, worry and concern. Beautiful job, guys. So, Laurel, you will need to pick the next theme. I'm going to put a comment on this image so you get notified. Well done, Laurel. You are this week's winner. Please message me with the next theme. Ah, this guy's funny. I can't type and think and... There we go. Perfect. Perfect. Yeah, good shot by Laurel there. And what we'll do is we'll jump on to Amanda's. Where's Amanda's gone? There we go. Well done, Amanda. Congrats, Amanda. Congrats, Amanda. You're in the chat. I know you're there, but I'm going to put it here anyway. Honorable mention. Perfect. Nice job, everybody. Really did a good job. Now, if you're watching and you're not part of the VIP group, the way to do that is to look at the link down below the video. There'll be a link down there somewhere that explains how to become a very important photographer, and that enables you then to participate in these challenges. Excellent work. Okay. Let's jump out of that now and check everything. The stream's still going slow. Things aren't working well today, so hopefully you haven't got any buffering or anything. Hopefully we get through. Yeah, so intentional camera movement, something that I don't do much of. But yeah, there you go. ICM. ICM, that's the acronym. So well done, Amanda. Yes, well done, Amanda. Very nice, Amanda. Nice images, guys. Well done, winners. All images look fantastic. Yes, they did. Nice one, ladies. Yeah, ladies took it out this week, guys. There you go. Well done. Good stuff. All right. So we're going to jump into some image critique. And I'm actually really excited this week because it is the first week that Rob Roy has joined us live. And Rob is actually the reason why they started. So it's sort of ironic that... and I don't know if you remember when that was, Rob, but that was a good year and a half ago now that I started doing these live shows. And Rob had contacted me via email or messenger and said, hey, mate, would you critique a couple of my images? And I said, sure, why don't we do it on a live and let everyone learn from the experience? And I got great feedback from doing that. And that's what started the show. Now, Rob's on the other side of the world. He's in Washington, in America, in the USA, I think, Washington, somewhere over there. And so he's on the other end of the time spectrum and normally at work on a Friday, because it's Friday where he is. And so he misses the live show and he catches up on the replays. So it was really good that you could join us today, mate, because I've actually got one of your images for critique today. So you'll actually get to see it live. Let's jump in and do it. There we go. So here's the two images. We've got one from Rob and we've got one from Dennis Stewart as well. So this one here's the one that we're going to be doing from Rob, which is just gorgeous. How nice is this? The tulips, the hot air balloon. I do have some questions. We'll get to that shortly that I'll need you to answer for me, Rob. So it's good that you're going to be here. How gorgeous is this? Anyway, that's Rob's. And then the other one we've got is from Dennis Stewart. And this one here is from a Falls in Alabama, USA. So we're going to look at these two. All right, so let's start with Rob's. Yeah. And everyone can give Rob a big thanks whilst you're in the chat box and he's there live, because he's the guy that made these shows happen. If it wasn't for him asking for that, we wouldn't have Pixel Chatter. So give him a whole bunch of gratitude in the chat box whilst he's here joining us live this week. All right, Rob, let's have a look at and go through this from a technical aspect. Then we'll look at composition. And I want to ask you a couple of questions as well, just out of interest and curiosity. So technically, this is shot with Rob's D850. He's using his 60mm f2.8 lens. I'm assuming that must be the 60mm macro. You feel like you need to put your clogs on, Anthony. Yes. Agreed. Shot at f9, which is beautiful. 60mm, ISO 64, 1/30th of a second. Now, from a technical point of view, all those settings are great. The only thing that I would mention, and it's not a right or a wrong, but at f9, when you've got foreground that close, you can see the foreground is not sharp. Okay, now it's sort of like intentional camera movement, right? Maybe you want intentional blur in the foreground, because it does add something to it. I actually quite like it, but it's something that I would have taken a few different exposures, and I'm not sure. Well, that's interesting. You've got, yeah, f9. I would have, forget what I was just thinking. I just saw something. I was confused. I would have probably focus stacked or tried f13 or something like that, just to try and get more in focus with that lens. But it might have been hard because you've got foreground right in front of you. But this is just a stunning location, wherever this is, because you shot images in from here last year. And, with the tractor, I remember there was a nice, beautiful tractor that you had in the foreground last time. And now I can see you changing it up a little bit. But so from a technical aspect, ISO is good. The only thing I would change is maybe the aperture, just to get that sharper depth, or that larger depth of field, I should say. But beautiful. Beautiful. All right, let's talk about composition, because I think technically, mate, you shoot really well. Very rarely now do I see something from you that technically needs improvement. It's more to do with now finding your voice, so to speak. And this is really important in photography, I think, is you've got to find your style and your... and once you get the technical aspect down pat, right, once you know how to take a photo, the next thing is to become you in your images. So when people see your images, they go, that was taken by XYZ. So for example, here in Australia, we have Ken Duncan. And if you saw a panoramic image done in a certain way, there's a good chance you'll go, oh, geez, I wonder if that's a Ken Duncan image. If it's not a Ken Duncan image, then you'll probably find that image was inspired by Ken Duncan. And so, because he just has a certain style about what he does. And so, for me now, it's getting that right. And that is what makes the difference between a good photo and an amazing image. So, from a composition point of view, I can imagine, so it's good we'll just get, because Rob's here to answer a question. So he says, I was thinking of that, but the balloon moving presented a challenge. No doubt it did. And that is very tricky with balloons. I've shot hot air balloons before. We have a festival in Canberra here every year where they're taking off. And I got some cracking shots, but it was difficult, right? Everything was handheld. And, you just had to be fast. Because there's certain times when you're going to get things like, for example, if you can get the flame going inside the balloon, they light up and they just look gorgeous. So you could be a little bit cheeky with this image and do a bit of photo manipulation, but that's entirely up to you. For me, I would have been tempted to move this guy down here somewhere, and would have been very easy to do in the sky, because I think the balloon is beautiful, and you can see it's gorgeous. It is just gorgeous. I would have just moved it into shot a little bit closer. Now, I'm not sure if this is cropped at all or if this is the actual crop, but just a bit of feedback for you, Rob. See how you don't have much space above the balloon, and same with this building here. So to me, they're the sort of little things that will make the difference, just to give your image that little bit more oomph. And I'll show you what I mean. If we just get rid of that balloon, that building, not the balloon, we're going to keep the balloon. We're going to get rid of the building, and we're just going to crop everything in a bit. So we keep that balloon where it is, and we do something like that. You can see how that crop starts to bring things to life. But having this balloon still that close to the top of the edge is a little bit awkward. That's all. The other thing is, you've got this windmill. Isn't it a shame it doesn't point towards you? It looks like it turns. Does it turn? I wonder if it turns. I doubt it does. I don't know how these old windmills work. But it'd be nice if it was facing you, wouldn't it? Wouldn't that be great? I'm just undoing those crops that I did. It would be nice if it was facing you. So that's the other thing I would do. So if I was in this position, and I don't know how much you can move around. I can see someone, Aussie, already talking about panos. We'll get there. I don't know if you can move around, but is this building in restoration, or is it a film set? Like, is that a fake building? Because I can see what's going on there. There's cameras pointing out this way, and I don't understand what that is. So, interested to learn from you. That's interesting. And why does this have this circle? Did you do some corrections on here? See that? Did you put that window on there to cover something? Yeah, I can see some manipulations happened here in a big circle. I see. So that's a clone of this here. Okay. So you've cloned this over there to put another window on. That's looking a bit weird. So I'm not sure what you've done there, Rob. Maybe you can tell us. So I would be really tempted just to crop that building out. Just get rid of it. And, how would we go about turning this into a pano? Maybe we could. Let's see. Yeah, maybe we could do a pano. Even that looks gorgeous. Look at that. I want to go here, Rob. When I finally get over to your neck of the woods, it's going to have to be at the time of the year that this is on, because do many photographers go and shoot this? I reckon they would. This is just too gorgeous. I mean, the fact that you've got the undistracted background, is that even a word? Undistracted? Yeah. So last year the windmill was facing the east, so I was able to do the face. Yeah. Okay. I didn't mess with that building. It's a set piece for the people to take photos in front of. Yeah, there's definitely something. I don't know if you can see this circle here. If I zoom right in, can you see the line around this? So you've probably done it accidentally. Okay, when you've been spot removal tool. So if I can show you, I don't know how well you can see that. You can clearly see the line. See this line where a big brush has been spotted onto there, and that has been cloned in from somewhere. Because it's a clone of something over here. I'd say it's definitely that window. It's that camera. Yeah. So there's something there that's been cloned over the top of that. So I'd say you've accidentally done it. Sometimes that can happen. Like you grab your brush like this, and you sort of just, you do that, and then you don't realise because you're moving around your photo, and you end up with something like this. See this? You end up with something weird like that. So that's probably what has happened. All right, now Brian has suggested something. Awesome. Let's try that. Would a vertical pano work? I reckon it would. This is why you're on the big bucks, Brian. Look at that. That is gorgeous. That was a good suggestion. That looks great. Let's just open it up a little bit. Look at that. Now that was a good suggestion. Beautiful. So the only thing I would do, because your processing is really good too, Rob, I've got to say. Really good. Like the contrast is good. The clarity is good. All the definition is good. I really like it. So there's nothing I would really change in that either. But for me, I would just try and brighten up this balloon just a little bit. Now the way that we can do that is if we select auto masking with a brush, we can then, and if I press O on my keyboard, I'm just going to mask the balloon. So I can just play with the exposure on the balloon. Oops. So that's where those accidental things can happen. Okay, let's get back to my brush here. So what I'm doing is I'm just going around the edges. And if you haven't seen the auto mask, all you got to do is keep that inside circle on the inside. Now, what that is the feather. So if you see when I change the feather, the inside circle disappears. So put your feather to 100% and that gives you the two circles nicely defined. And then as you go around, as long as you keep the inside circle on your subject, it will auto mask to the edge of the contrast. So it picks it up. Okay, and if you go over, don't worry, you can always undo it. Okay. So that's how the auto masking works. If I take the auto masking off, you'll see that it goes over the edge pretty quickly. But that's okay. Here we go. And then you press the O key to show that red. So that red is just me showing where I have masked. If I go back to fit now, just because what I want to do is I want to get the exposure right on that balloon. So I can now change the brightness of the balloon. See that? I can just give it a little bit of something. So I'm not going to go crazy. Maybe half a stop. And then I'm going to just bring the shadows up a bit on the balloon, just so it gets nice lighting. And maybe the whites just a tad, just brighten it up. And then the other thing, let's just increase the texture on it a bit. See how the texture on it just increases its Shazam, let's call it. There we go. And let's saturate it a bit. Let's give it a bit more color. Let's bring it to life a little bit. There we go. Let's call that quits. There we go. Oh, what a great looking image. So that was before and after. So that was before I did the edits on the balloon, and that was after. So it's only very minor, but it was just, I felt it was just a little bit dark. And to me, it's the hero of the shot, this balloon. I think it really is the hero of the shot. How nice is that? I mean, the original crop was okay as well. So you decide what you want, Rob. I really think you've done great, mate. You've taken a good shot there. The other thing you could do, I like the old 8x10, which is like a large format, medium format type crop as well. So something like that. How good's that? So let me just get rid of that spot removal that I did there, because we don't want that, where I did that funny thing. So I'd probably just move that over a bit to the right to get that chair in. See, that's what I'm talking about, having things right on the edge. But I want to try and put the balloon and that on an intersection. So I'm going to bring that in a bit just to, I'm going to have to get rid of that chair. But what I'm thinking, something like that even, I just have to remove this off the edge here. It's doing a horrible job. It's not doing a very nice job of cloning or healing that spot. So we are going to get rid of that and just crop it in a bit more just to get rid of it. That's through the way. I would go into Photoshop to sort that out. But there you go. No, that's too tight now. So that's what I'm saying. You don't want things too close to the edge. Yeah, that's all right. Having that tree there, like that's all right. So lots of things you could do with it. I really like it. I'd even be tempted now to vignette the corners, or, just darken the foreground a bit with a graduated filter down the front here, just to lessen the eye being dragged into the front here. But, and then maybe darken these corners a little bit. So you can do that with effects, post-crop vignetting. And you'll see that you can if you just bring this to the left, it just give you a bit of post-crop vignette, something like that. Let's have a look at that. Beautiful shot. So before and after. Before and after. So it's just balancing things out a bit. But otherwise, mate, you've done a great job. Beautiful shot. Lovely location. Very, very jealous that you have this nearby. Very, very jealous, because that's a beautiful spot. All right, let's have a quick look at the comments. What does everyone say? I'm right. I forgot that used to be a person. Oh, was it? Oh, you were trying to get rid of a person. Come on by. Yes, this place is a photographer's dream. I'm sure it is. Brian said, would a vertical panel work? Yes, it did. Anthony says, we have a tulip festival here in Victoria, and there's also one at Wynyard, Tasmania at the start of October. All right, good to know. Need to start organising some of these things. Nice suggestion there, Brian. Yes, it was. Love the vertical pano. So a few votes for the vertical pano there, mate, that you could print up and have a go at that. I do like the vertical, says Rob. Perfect. Rick says, well, I think this is showing why we keep coming back to pixels. Look at what we've been taught today. Thanks, Ben and Rob. Cool, guys. Yeah. Perfect. All right. Let's jump out of there for a second. All right. I'm having a bit of a moment. They took me off my blood pressure medication yesterday because I've lost all this weight and my blood pressure's dropped. And every now and then I get these dizzy spells, and apparently it's because my blood pressure's going very low. So every now and then I get these funny dizzy spells. Anyway, I'm back. I'm coming back. I'm in recovery. Okay, so we are going to have a look at the next one. So thanks for sending that in, Rob. And I'm so pleased that you could be on the live stream today. When I picked your image, I had no idea you'd be here today. So wasn't it great that you were here? And gratitude to you, mate, for being the bravest person on the planet and sending me your first photo in, and allowing me to critique it publicly. Because I think, not only do you guys learn, I learn a lot as well. I never ever would ever say I know everything about photography. And I think I always say that these are just my opinions and ideas of what I would do. And as you can see, we get lots of feedback from you guys as well, which is cool. So thank you for sending that in, Rob. I appreciate it. Alrighty, let's have a look at the next one, which is another great shot. And it's shot by Dennis Stewell. Thank you, Dennis, for sending in some more images. I'm going to get back to library here so I can read the information. So, Dennis sent this in. It's an image of Coldwater Falls in Tuscumbia, Alabama, USA. I hope I pronounced that right. No guarantees. Not sure what that means, if I've got that right. Another Nikon shooter. D850, great camera, cracking camera. I think last time I did mention I'm thinking about switching to Sony because I want something lighter. I'm getting old, and travelling with this heavy gear worries me with these bloody airlines. Anyway, but the D850 is a cracker. ISO 64, shooting with the Tamron 24-70 G2. Now there you go, the Tamron lens. It's nice and sharp, good lens. Shot at 31mm. manual exposure, autofocus, 1/8 of a second at f22. He said, and then in brackets he put really needed an ND filter, so I didn't have to shoot it at f22. Yeah. So I mean, you've already given yourself some critiquing there. Some notes here, had a circular polarizing filter. So good to know that. So everyone can learn a bit about that today. And shot midday in harsh light and windy conditions. So probably not the ideal time to be shooting a waterfall. In fact, I guarantee you it's not the ideal time to shoot a waterfall. Let's have a look at the technical detail, which Dennis has already sort of said f22 wasn't ideal, and it's never ideal to shoot at f22 unless you have to. Now, having said that, what's interesting is I get comments on some of my videos, and there was a video where I shot at f18 with the D850, and everyone's going, why would you shoot at that? You're losing all your lenses resolution. Well, go through all my images on my Facebook page or on my website, and you tell me which ones did I shoot at f18, and I guarantee you couldn't pick. So these people that carry on about not shooting at those apertures act as if they're getting paid $1 million for their photos and they're going to be printed largely on a billboard. Let's get over ourselves. We're just amateurs taking photos and enjoying the hobby. If you need to shoot at f18 to get a longer exposure, shoot at f18. I don't care what anybody else says. That's the reality. So in this case, if this is what you had to do, it's what you had to do. There's no right or wrong. It's about you understanding what to do to get the shot you need. So well done there, Dennis. That's what I say. Well done. And I would have done the same thing, because to get a slightly longer shutter, because I like to get this movement in the water, because I think that's what makes a waterfall photo come to life. And this is gorgeous because of the way all the vegetation is splitting the water. We'll come back to that in a second. So, you know, what you've done is what I would have done. There's not much you can do. I will say, though, just so everyone can learn, that the circular polarizing filter reduces light coming in by about a couple of stops, typically. Might be a stop, might be 2 stops. Depends on it. Might be 2/3 of a stop. Just depends on the filter. They're all different quality. But it will reduce the light coming into your lens. So it actually helps. So if you are shooting in harsher light like this and you want to reduce the amount of light coming in, you can definitely use your CPL. The other thing you can do, because he's needed an ND filter, and is you can use a graduated. Oh, excuse me, he's having a yawn. You can use a graduated filter from the top and from the bottom, okay, and meet them in the middle somewhere so it looks natural, and that will reduce some light coming in. So if you don't have an ND filter like a big stopper or a little stopper, but you do have graduated filters, put like a 0.9 in from the top, a 0.6 in from the bottom, and sort of blend the two together, and that will give you enough of a light stop down that you'll be able to get a longer exposure, and just works really well. All right, now what I would say to you is, if I could avoid shooting a waterfall in the middle of the day, then I would. Simply because the light that's hitting this is overexposing it. So if we have a look, we zoom right in, you lose the detail in these areas here, and it's just what happens in waterfalls. You just lose the details. You see along here with this here, you just start to lose the detail. Now, it looks like you've controlled the exposure pretty well, but I don't know what you've done to this, because this is a JPEG. But it's not looking too bad. If I jump into the develop module and we'll put the clipping on, I'm just going to see how far I can push it before I get the clipping. Yeah, so there's the clipping there. So, yeah, it's actually pretty well exposed. So I'd say you controlled that relatively well given the circumstances, but it does look like the highlights are slightly overexposed. Ideally, you want to shoot a waterfall when it's overcast, and that's, you know, also the time that waterfalls are usually pumping. So let me jump into the library quickly. Because when you, let me jump into my Tasmania, here we go. Now, Tassie's a great place to shoot waterfalls because it's always always overcast. Not always, but most of the time it is, right? So it gives you the opportunity to go and shoot waterfalls. Let's just, I'm pretty sure I got one in here. I've got a couple in here. There we go. Let's look at this one here. Yeah, here's one that I edited recently. So this is one, you can see how overcast it is. This is Philosopher's Falls in Tassie, not far from the Tarkine, where I was staying recently. And, you know, if you look, you've still got to underexpose. So here's one that's my original exposure. And if you have a look at the histogram up here, see how it's all bunched up to the left? So when you are taking images of waterfalls, you've really got to keep that in mind, that you've got to underexpose. And if you look at my EXIF information, typically you will find that I have the exposure comp wound down as well. So it would be unusual that I would have my exposure comp set at 0. Now this is in aperture priority, ISO 64, you see at f13, so that's typically what I pick. But you can see that I've done that. Now if you have a look at this one here, another one where I've got water in, but you can see how far bunched to the left, how the darks are there. But I know that when I shoot underexposed, that I am definitely going to be able to just bring things up a little bit. And I'll just show you one more. So quite often I'll take a shot, and you can, if you look at the histograms, you'll see they're all bunched over to the left. This is just a series of different things. I found this little cascade. None of these are edited. These are all raw files. And it's super important. Somewhere like this one here, I don't know if you can see the light coming through the back here. See that? That light is probably overexposed if I look at that. So I've then dropped the exposure even further to try and control that light in the background. So it's just something to consider when you are taking a waterfall photo. Be really mindful about dropping your exposure comp down, and your photo will look dark when you do it, and the histogram will be all bunched to the left, but when you get your image on the computer, you'll be grateful. All right, so let's jump back into the develop module. So to me, that would be the thing. I probably wouldn't have taken this photo in this light unless I really had to. It's good for you to do it though, because you'll learn about shooting in harsh light and understanding. But as you can see, you've got these harsh shadows. Like under this rock is, you know, really dark, and everything's just, it's just, you know, just not great lighting. But and it's not, you know, that's not a new thing. Everyone sort of knows that if you shoot in the middle of the day, you're going to get the harshest light because the shadows are, you know, directly down like this. Like this looks like it's midday or something. What's it say on the information? It doesn't tell me. No, I don't have the actual time, but yeah, he just said shot midday. So, you know, I think that's something that you've got to be mindful of. So having known that, I would probably bring the highlights back a bit more to try and tame that down, maybe bring the exposure down a little bit more and bring the shadows up a bit more just to try and balance it out a bit. Now, the problem when you do that is you do lose a little bit of contrast, so bring that up a bit. Texture clarity, let's just do a bit of that. There's not a lot you can do. The other thing that you could do with something like this, and I've sort of shown you this before, is crop it in a way that is going to give it a different look. In fact, let's do 8x10, which is the old sort of, you know, large format look. Let's just, oh, that was no good, was it? I didn't mean to do that. And just sometimes you can really focus on a part of the waterfall. There we go. Let me do this. Maybe this cascade here. Just bring it up just a little bit more. And that can sort of help you come up with something that just works out a little bit better. So, yeah, see, something like that. So when you've got these days where it's hard, sometimes it's good to focus in on the detail and just try something different. But yeah, I would, I mean, you can even see where the light's hitting the particles of water. It's just really quite harsh, making it difficult to making it difficult. I mean, the other thing you could do is we could do the pano crop, but vertical pano that Brian was talking about. That would actually look pretty good, I reckon. Yeah, and that gets rid of those shadows. So now you can sort of probably try different things, and those highlights are just too bright for my liking. So you really want to bring those down. And you already know this, Dennis. I'm not telling you anything that you don't know because you were talking about it yourself. See Amanda, thanks for joining us. She's heading off to shoot some Clydesdales. So I really like that, actually. That would probably be something that I would look at doing. Let me just bring the exposure up a tad on that, contrast a bit. I think it's slightly not straight, so I'm just going to straighten it up. So let's ask Lightroom to decide. Auto, let's see what it does. There we go. And that would have done that off of the lines coming down off the waterfall. Yeah, something like that maybe. I reckon let's do some vignetting. Yeah, something like that. But that there's not a lot you can do with a photo that has been taken in the middle of the day. It can be quite awkward. So there's probably nothing else I would do with that. But I do like the vertical shot. That looks good. Yes, we're going very vertical today, aren't we? Yeah, very, very vertical. All right. Now, Tim has said black and white is good for midday light. All right. Wow, let's have a look at that because I don't do much black and white. And I know that Tim does. So which one would you pick, Tim, out of the left here, out of these presets, if you're going to pick a preset? Would you go with landscape, high contrast, punch, low contrasting, flat, soft, infrared, sepia maybe? Sepia looks interesting. Landscape looks interesting. Maybe we could try that. Let's bring the exposure back down and see what happens. Peter Ponzel's come in and said maybe black and white. Spanner's going, I agree. All right, you go. I don't shoot black and white ever. You've probably noticed that about me. I love my colours. So I struggle with black and white. It's an area that I need to work on and improve. But a bit more contrast maybe. Let's get rid of the crop then. Widen it back up a bit like that. How's that look? Punch. Black and white punch. There we go. Black and white punch it is. Tim's choice. Black and white punch. Yeah, that does look good. And that's a good tip, hey? That's a real good tip. If something is in midday light, then use black and white because that does look good. Okay. I'll just back the contrast off a bit maybe. I think black and white looks better without too much contrast, doesn't it? What do you reckon? What do we reckon about that? I think that looks good. Okay. I'm going to go and do a little bit more vignette. Darken the corners a bit more. Yeah, I like that look there. Okay. There we go. I'm actually pretty happy with that. I think that looks good. That was a good tip, Tim. So there's before and there's after. Look at that. Before and after. That's quite dramatic, isn't it? I could be tempted to do some black and white photography, team. Yeah, that looks good. That looks great. All right. That looks good. All right. Now, if you're not already following me on social media, which I know most of you are, this is where you follow me. This is where you find me. Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Mostly I'm on Facebook. I've been slack on everything lately, but mostly I'm on Facebook. All right. So let me have a look. Extremes of tone of midday make me think black and white, says Tim. Yep. Tim says I don't get to shoot the golden hour as much, so make the most of it when I can. Yeah, obviously you identify that pretty quickly, and that's that comes from experience, doesn't it? So yeah, good tip. Brian says message retracted. Whatever he said, he doesn't want to say. Fair enough. Well, hopefully you enjoyed this week's Pixel Chatter, gang. So congratulations to Laurel and Amanda on Laurel for winning the last challenge. Laurel, you need to decide on the next VIP challenge theme, and that way we can get that out there. So in the next 48 hours, if you can let me know, so we can have that happening. I'm just going to check my calendar. The next Pixel Chatter will be, let me have a look, the 29th of June, so in 2 weeks. There we go. So we'll be there. I've got nowhere that I'm going to be. I thought I was going to be away, but it must be the week after that I'm going to be away in July. So that's cool. So I'll be around and I'll be joining you for that. So if you've got some images that you want to shoot in for the critique, all the details are down below on how to do that. And if you're not a VIP, head to patreon.com/on3legs. Thanks, Brian. Appreciate that, buddy. Rick says, cool thought, I can get you macroing spiders. Yeah, how good was that in that macro group, by the way? If you're not into macro, Rick is in a group that he introduced me to, and there was this spider that was like a peacock, and it had a, maybe you can share that into the VIP group, Rick, but are you in the VIP group? I'm not sure. The spider had like a peacock tail, but it wasn't a peacock tail. And obviously it was tiny because it was macro. This thing was amazing. Looked awesome. Was absolutely awesome. And the macro stuff is really cool. So I do love my macro. Good to have you here, Rob. Thank you for joining us, mate. It was great to have you joining us. Great show, thank you. All right, well, I'm going to wrap it up there, gang. Have a fantastic weekend. You know what I'm going to say. Enjoy your weekend. Get out there and take some photos, because that's what it's all about. See yous.